Hi, chat. Welcome. And yeah, we had a bit of a couple things today. I got a haircut. Found I got to find a new place. Get my hair done. And I don't know what do you guys think? Huh? I don't know. I don't know if I like this. It's kind of like what the fuck did this guy do to the front of my hair? Like, look what he did. Look what he did to my hair. Um, so yeah, that was a thing. It's the Fatler. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. What the hell? Yeah. I think you should do a barber based on who can do a beard. Yeah. Well, we found a place. I need to. I'm not airy enough for a drop fade. Well, that's the thing. Like, I was like, he was a nice guy and everything. And I'm like, he got done, and I'm sitting there at the salon, and I was like, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, motherfucker, did you give me it? Like, in my head, I'm like, you just gave me a drop fade. It's like, come on. Did he stop halfway through? Yeah, it looked like a 12. No. The Richard Spencer special. I know, chat. Und das heißt Erica. I can't go into court till like May next year anyway, Mario. So we're good. Don't worry. I'm not going to court anytime soon. Like a Capcom character. Joe Schmo says, first problem is that you're at a salon. Well, actually, my haircut before was cut by a lady named Mary. She was very good at it. Dina, I'm sorry, 2.0. Knows, although to be fair, Hella says her name when she talks about her. But anyways, 2.0 knows her, and she cut my hair. So like when you guys see my haircut all the time, that was done by a hairstylist. She did really good rates. So yeah, I am. There are a lot better barber opportunities in this area. I'm gonna have to look into, but like, holy Jesus, this was not good. So, yeah, I am sure you have a Wehrmacht helmet to hide that. Yes, I'll have to get one. This will give me 6 weeks, guys, and this will be all grown out. Give it a month and you won't notice. I'm auditioning as the older uncle in the spin-off version of Peaky Blinders. Yeah. Jay Boots says, go to a barber like a man. If there's good barbers around here, I will. But where I was at before was not a good selection of barbers, or at least ones that I thought were good. So it's just punishment withholding, Clyde. Oh God. You know, when the women are like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, I took a picture I get done and I send pictures of 2.0 and I'm like, how bad is it? She's like, well, I'll still go to bed with you. But she's like, they're not the best. She's like, I'm glad these weren't your match profile because I would have kept swiping. And she's like, if you'd have shown up to our first date with a haircut like that, I thought you were a goober. So I guess it's good it didn't happen like that, chat. You know. I can put the glasses back on. Yeah, I know. Oh. Funniest part is recorded his prior hair person, and the guy watched it and still left it up. Yeah. I asked her. I'm like, I let her record it, and I said, film my hair and tell them what you do. And I gave it to the guy, and he does it, and he's like, oh, okay, I can do that. And I'm just like, he's cutting an awful. I'm like, he's cutting an awful like, and I can't see, but I'm like, my hair doesn't look very long, and I'm like, he's cutting a lot. And when I put my glasses back on, I was like, sweet mother of God, it's cope time. Are you currently playing 2.0 to think I'm a goober? I think so. Bald is a choice. And bald is a choice? No. Never going Bald? We don't go bald in this family. We keep this shit. It stays. The side shave, Shonky, I heard you. Did I go tanning too? No, this is me just in the Florida sun. Email me and I'll tap my contacts to find you a good barber. Okay. Is it as short as it looks? Yes, it actually is. Look at it. Look. Like, I know the guy, like, I don't, like, I'm not mad at the guy, but, like, goddamn, look. That's all I got. God, imagine if this is like Dark Side Phil, he'd be bald. He's prepping for a flat top on the next visit. 2.0 will she hates flat tops on me. That hairline stands more than Katie. It does. This will distract them during your bait with Ryan Mullally strategy. Yeah. Apparently we're doing it next week because Ryan Hurd is back. Ryan comes in there today in the group chat. He's like, oh, I got to pull out. And I'm like, you're like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighter. Tapping out at the last minute. Top is fine. No, the top's bad too. The whole thing's bad. It stays till it don't, but it stay. I promise you it stay. Coffee Cafe, $5. They massacred my boy. I know. I haven't shown my mom this haircut yet. She might cry. My mom likes it when I get flat tops because I've always gotten those, even as a little kid. I would get flat tops, and I think she just likes seeing me in them, even when I'm a big fat slob. But either way, I think she's gonna be like, oh. I was like, I can't wait for her to see it. Did I accidentally go to a black barber shop? No, because they would have at least lined me up if I went to a black shop. And the one where my dad goes, it's run by, I think, either Puerto Ricans or Dominicans. And I went one time and they fucking gave me a nice haircut. And then they lined me up and I looked like a fucking like Puerto Rican for a minute. But yeah, no, below Florida cuts, get used to them. Oof. Wear my headphones always. Yes. Did I tip him? Yes, I tipped him anyway. I don't know if the guy knew what was going on. So, did Clyde give me the haircut? No. Ryan had his back blown out. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I tan anyway. That's part of the thing. Like, I tan anyway. You know, we were, as the one guy says in Boardwalk Empire, we got left out in the sun a little too long compared to the Irish. Do your hair flip maneuver. I need to see it. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing there. Yeah. You look like a video game character when I pick my appearance. Fuck you, people. Screw all of you. I know. Oh, no. I know. This is so bad. It's so bad. I almost came on the bag over my head. Fair Frozen says, you look like a Puerto Rican. I got a fade just like that a week ago. Well, I don't carry a knife, so I'm not very Puerto Rican-y. Eric says, Sean gets a flat top and NAS Jax is going to have a problem. Acock says, next Model Street, can we watch Weapons of the Field Artillery from 1953? Yes, and we are going to finish up the elephant, and we'll put the camouflage on it. I think we'll be all set. The haircut is in regs, but my beard is not. Yeah, well, I need to do that. Yeah, no, it always grows back. It grows back quick for me. Yes, 2.0. Yeah, one of the first things she's like, you got to quit getting flat tops. So I was like, okay, fine. Or even like I was doing like finger length for a little while, and she's like, no, we're getting real haircut. And she started making me get a real haircut, and that's been like Almost 6 years now. So I secretly got orders to the Eastern Front. Yes. Yes, Einza Group in Alpha. Oh. Yeah. Keep saying it always grows back. It does, man. And the men in my family keep their hair, bro. I'm just telling you. Whiskey 77 says, I know what happened. They saw you driving a Subaru and went for the butch fade. Char. How you doing, Whiskey? Hope you're doing good, man. EDW Raptor for $5 says, we'll call this haircut his teenage angst arc. Because I'm just a teenage dirtbag, baby. Come listen to the Iron Maiden, baby, with me. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Did they shave Suffa into the back? No. Time to get a beanie like Tim Pool. Okay. Someone with the bowl cut, this wouldn't have happened. Yeah. Fashy male haircut is a lefty female haircut. Yeah. I'm going to stay off Twitter. I did see a little bit of stuff talking to Ryan Mullally via text while I was doing stuff here. Yeah, but we'll be okay in 2 weeks. Chat. Get the Ricada sunglasses to distract us from the hair. Well, no. Well, now he's going to war with the Daily Mail, which it's funny because you can read the IRA wrote a song about the Daily Mail. There's a good IRA song about it, but yeah, they're having a fun time. So, guys, let's get started. We are on day 4. Tyler Robinson, preliminary hearing. This is all about whether or not there's enough probable cause to get this case moved along and ready for trial. Yes, it's the man from the Daily Mail. Ireland's a very weird place, sir. As it starts out. Now, we talked about this before. The prosecution's going to meet it. It's not a hard standard. They're definitely going to be doing it. But today, we get more and more stuff. Apparently, the gun is shown. Notes from Tyler Robinson are shown. Also, the ammunition is shown. And from what I understand, it sounds like I was right all along about what it was, chat. Fucking mark that on the board about what it is. Yeah, this day's really good. This day's really, really good. So let's get to it. Let's get to this day. Remember, we're going to 1.5 speed here, chat. So we're going to catch up to them, but here we go. Let's see here. Here we go.
The counsel for victim representative, Ms. Kirk. I do ask the parties, the attorneys, if you will join me in turning off your ringer to ensure that we do not have any interruptions. So I am turning off my ringer.
If you guys remember, somebody's phone went off yesterday. The judge is being very nice, and I think that tells me somebody on his staff or his phone went off. And he's like, we're all going to turn off our phones today.
And I invite you to do the same. Every person who is in attendance today and every day will be afforded the dignity and respect due to them. And pursuant to the standing decorum order by the court, all spectators shall be quiet, civil, and orderly. Spectators shall not engage in any distracting, disruptive, provocative, disrespectful, uncivil, or threatening behavior of any kind. Spectators shall not make any audible comments of any kind, shall not shake or nod their heads, shall not otherwise make any gestures during the hearing. Spectators shall not wear or display pins, buttons, signs, clothing, or photographs expressing support for or against any person related to this case or the status of this case as a capital offense. All right. As we begin this morning, I wish to I've taken a lot of time to think about the comments made by the parties yesterday, and there were additional briefings and a motion filed last night, and the court took the necessary time to readdress it and look at it and be prepared for this morning's proceedings. While I recognize especially how precious our time is, I also recognize that I need to be prepared for everything that's before me. And I took the time this morning to review what was filed since we adjourned yesterday until we came back on record. One of the motions filed last night was filed by Ms. Erica Kirk's attorney, and I wish to address that. And I realize that the parties may not have had a chance for defense or prosecution had a chance to respond to that. And before I address that, I wish to turn the time to you if you need the benefit of the record as it relates to what was filed by the attorney for victim representative Erica Kirk to the state.
Good morning, Your Honor. Christopher Ballard on behalf of the state. We have reviewed that filing, and we believe that it fully accords with our position in our filing this morning that publishing exhibits to the courtroom is entirely appropriate and indeed honors the victim representative's right to be present in at this hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. To defense, Mr. Novak.
Thank you, Your Honor. I read the pleading. I believe that every order that this court has made to date complies with and respects the victim's rights under the Utah Constitution. I think that the rulings that the court has made the last few days do so. And I don't believe that the issues that are presently before the court going forward with the hearing with respect to exhibits in what I'll just call the 16 series interfere with any of the enumerated rights set forth in the Utah Constitution concerning the rights of a victim representative in any criminal proceeding. So that's our position. And I want to also be very mindful of timing issues because we spent a lot of time arguing without the court having the benefit of briefing yesterday. But we have witnesses we have to get to, including a defense witness who is not available after tonight. So I could, of course, as Your Honor knows, say much more, but the court has all the briefing, and I think we should move forward.
Thank you. And as it relates to transparency and publication, does the news media wish to be heard on this issue?
Only briefly, Your Honor. I've also reviewed the submission from yesterday. The court has always set this three-step process, and I think taking each of those stages, admissibility, publication to the courtroom, and coverage by the in-court cameras are three separate inquiries. Of course, the media believes the media will be the party who stands here at this lectern and says, we believe we should see as much as possible. Maximalist in that way, while recognizing the importance of protecting all the rights, including fair trial rights. But the idea of publishing something, of keeping something off of the cameras at the rear of the courtroom, but publishing it to those who are present here also is a meaningful step towards transparency. And to the extent that the court is not comfortable with placing something on the video feed, the media does believe that allowing the media representatives who are here and the members of the public who are here to view that, even if those watching a live stream cannot, is a meaningful victory for transparency, and we of course support that.
Thank you. All right.
Your Honor, the state would like to be heard on the briefing briefly.
For
the briefing that was submitted last night.
all right, so I want to address the motion filed by the attorney for the victim representative, and then we'll transition to that. I'm just trying to do it incrementally so we can get it all addressed. So in regards to that, and I appreciate the position of the parties, it is important for me to hear all sides. Article 1, Section 28 of the Utah Constitution recognizes important rights afforded to victims and victims' representatives, including the right to be treated with fairness, respect, and dignity, and the right to be present and heard at critical stages of the proceedings. The court acknowledges the concerns raised in the motion regarding transparency and the ability to meaningfully observe the evidence presented during this hearing. At the same time, the court has an independent obligation to manage these proceedings in a manner that safeguards the rights of all parties. That includes honoring the rights of victims and victims' representatives while preserving the defendant's constitutional rights, including the right to a fair and impartial process. The court has considered the request that exhibits be displayed in real time to the courtroom. After careful consideration, the court determines that not all exhibits will be visually displayed to the gallery, and notes that it will use a tiered method as described. First, whether it will be admitted to the court for consideration as it relates to probable cause. Second, whether it will be displayed only to the gallery. And third, if it will be published through the camera to the public at large. This ruling is not intended to diminish the significance of the victim's representative rights or concerns. Rather, it reflects the court's responsibility to regulate the presentation of evidence in a manner consistent with the integrity of the proceedings and the fair trial rights implicated in this manner. The manner in which evidence is displayed remains in the court's discretion. That discretion must be exercised in a manner that is appropriate and appropriately balances Ms. Robinson's constitutional rights. Mr. Robinson's constitutional rights, Ms. Kirk's rights as a victim representative, and the court's obligation to conduct the proceedings that are fair, orderly, and appropriately
C3 Metal Things for 10 subs. Thank you. Clyde almost a wooed on camera. I almost caught it. I was like 2 seconds too late. So we almost got another awoo chat. But thank you, C3.
Transparent. Transparency is an important principle, but it must be maintained in a manner consistent with the constitutional rights and protections afforded to all parties. The court does not make a blanket ruling as it relates to any exhibit, and as previously stated, each exhibit will be afforded its own due in weighing whether it shall be published to the courtroom or beyond or not. And that concludes the court's ruling on that motion. All right, counsel, the last matter, as it relates to the briefing, I'll hear that, and there is a slight edit to, and I'm not sure when the state wishes to publish State's Exhibit 16. So
oh my
turning
God,
to the state,
doing this again.
do you wish to be heard about the motions filed last night prior to the publication of Exhibit 16? Again, it's your choice on how you move forward. I just want to see which order you want to go.
We do want to be heard on the briefing from last night, and specifically about Exhibit 16. I'm understanding Your Honor has an additional edit to that.
I do, and there might be value in hearing that, so that may or may not change your positions. So let me just put that on the record, and then I'll hear from you. I just want to make sure you're able to be afforded everything. So as it relates to the edits, last night, I believe it was between 6 minutes and 57 seconds. Last night, I believe it was between 6 minutes and 57 seconds.
Guys, it's already at 360p. I don't know what's going on.
20 minutes and 29 seconds, which is...
And I reset the router before this.
not to be played, and then 32 minutes and 55 seconds to 35 minutes and 47 seconds, which is not to be played. And I believe that what I received reflects that. And is that the understanding of the parties?
Yes.
All right. The state has said yes to the...
All right, guys. We
Defense.
have the exact same internet.
I'm not saying if you agree.
Guys, I have the exact same internet I had when I lived in Ohio. Exact same speeds. Everything's the same. I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to refresh it. That's all I can do.
Or it was brought out that you have.
Okay. That's all I can do at this point. And we'll just see if we can get to the witness to see what happens.
In 18 seconds.
Your Honor, just to make sure that we've got that correct, the additional redactions would be 27 minutes and 18 seconds to 27 minutes and 25 seconds.
Correct for the first one.
And then 28 minutes and 11 seconds to 28 minutes and 18 seconds.
Yes.
And Your Honor, while we're talking about additional redactions, let me approach. When Your Honor made his ruling yesterday afternoon, it wasn't entirely clear the basis for these redactions that the court proposed. The state's understanding was that those additional redactions were based on the potential that the video 1102 would be showing duplicative evidence and would be displaying evidence that would be duplicative of future exhibits, and then also potentially a concern about admissions by the defendant. Portions that the court has ordered to be redacted do not have any of those concerns as far as the state's view of that evidence. And I'd like to be able to point the court to those. We've got two brief portions that we believe don't implicate those concerns and should not be redacted.
All right.
Does Your Honor have the transcript
I do.
in front of you? Okay. First of all, at the very, very bottom of page 10, beginning with the words, "was he," and then over to page 11, down to timestamp 1646. That portion is not cumulative of additional exhibits. and it contains nothing that could be classified as an admission by the defendant. That's the first portion.
So going back to page 10, I don't see was he at the bottom. Where are you? How many lines from the bottom up are you referring to? You may. Oh, I see. Right here. Okay. Now I see what you're saying. I missed that. I was looking at the beginning of the line, but I see your point. Okay. So from was he on page 10 until
16, the timestamp 1646 on page 11.
okay.
That's the first portion. And then the second portion that we would ask not to be redacted is a small portion of page 19. And it begins, let's see. It would be the fifth paragraph down, Mr. McBride stating, okay. And then ending at timestamp 3340. Again, that's not cumulative of any anticipated exhibit, and nor does it refer to any admission by the defendant.
Thank you.
Peter.
Yes, you may.
Thank you, Your Honor. With respect to the first of the two portions that Mr. Ballard referenced, I want to be totally transparent with the court, of course, that was not a section that we asked the government to agree to redact. That is a section that the court independently determined was appropriate for redaction under the various principles that the court has enunciated. So I just want to be transparent about that.
Thank you.
The second portion that Mr. Ballard addressed, which is on page 19, we did suggest, and it is in our highlighted redacted transcript,
See that?
and the court agreed with us. This is not relevant. This is not admissible under 403. I don't understand how this questioning by Mr. McBride and the answers to these questions by Mr. Twiggs, and now I'm going to quote the Utah Rule of Evidence, has any tendency and reason to make a fact of consequence more or less true. That's the relevance question. So I understand that the court has said, I can make determinations of which portions of this transcript to rely upon, but from my perspective, what the state is asking the court to do is to broadcast a portion of the transcript, which we are saying is not relevant, and to the extent it has any relevance, is significantly outweighed by undue prejudice.
All right.
I am not Mr. Twiggs' representative, but I think as a witness who has counsel, there might be something that Mr. Twiggs' counsel would want to say about this as well. I don't know what it would be, but my firmly held belief is it would be consistent with what I'm saying, which is that it is neither relevant nor probative of anything of significance, especially in compared to the undue prejudice. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Novak. Mr. Ballard.
Thank you, Your Honors. Mr. Novak recognized Mr. Twiggs was represented during the statement. His counsel knew that this was being prepared to be produced in court, and his counsel made no objections to this part of the interview.
Because he's got immunity.
This is critically relevant. It provides important foundational information about Mr. Twiggs and identifying information about him, and then also it's very relevant to the enhancement that we have charged.
All right. Thank you. Anything further before the court rules on these two requests? All right. In reviewing the first section, again, citing to page 10, and I know it is, to anyone listening, this may not make sense when I'm saying page 10, but it's roughly just a few seconds after 1539 on the video, starting with was he, and ending at 1646, with the last word asking. After hearing and considering what has been argued, the court agrees that this, in applying a balancing test and as it relates to transparency, to ensure the court is taking a very narrow approach in what is or is not published to the public, that this is permissible. It doesn't run afoul of the issues that the court addressed previously that the court is trying to avoid by publishing portions. And in addition to that, independently of the court's decision-making, it appears that the parties also agree as it relates to the first requested edit to unredact or to allow in. So I am ruling that that may be played and published through all mediums in the courtroom and via video. Turning to the second section, this is page 19. It is roughly right after 3327. going to just before 3340.
Sorry, Your Honor, just to clarify, what we asked was just before 3307.
3307?
Correct. Yeah. Yes. In right after 3255, where Mr. McBride states, okay.
I see. Thank you. Let me just take a quick second to review this. In relation to that request from right after 3255, starting with okay, is that the spot you're talking about, Mr. Ballard?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And specifically to 3327, the court stands by its original ruling. That is not, there are several reasons why the court, the court's ruling isn't whether it's relevant or not. It's whether it should be published or not. And again, as previously stated, the entirety of Exhibit 16, the court is receiving without any redactions or edits. The court is considering it as it weighs probable cause. However, for publication, the court finds that the requested section from roughly after 3255, starting with okay, ending at 3327 is, the court finds that their interest is served by not publishing this to the courtroom or to be broadcast. I note and I recognize Mr. Novak's statement as it relates to what Mr. Twiggs' counsel may or may not assert, but the court finds independently that this this portion shall not be transmitted into the courtroom because of certain statements made in there that do not serve the interest of justice for publication. However, the court finds from 3327, starting at okay, until just before 3340, I'm sorry, up to 3340 may be published. Did that notation make sense?
To the state, Your Honor.
All right, to defense.
Understood.
And so this is the appropriate balancing of being transparent while at the same time maintaining the constitutional rights or balancing the constitutional rights of all parties and what is appropriate for publication. And this may be published not only to the gallery, but to the media as well that goes beyond the gallery itself. All right. Anything further on State's Exhibit 16?
Not from the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. I know defense is nodding their head as well and not indicating any more is needed to be discussed at this point. All right. I think we've put State's Exhibit 16, we've addressed it. Turning to the state.
Thank you, Your Honor. We would just like to briefly emphasize a few points in the briefing that we filed early this morning. Last night, the state, the defense raised the issue of publishing admissions by the defendant or confessions. They cited to one sentence from the United States Supreme Court opinion in Estes versus Texas that relies on the Rideau versus Louisiana case. And that one sentence in Estes has no precedential value on the issue that's before the court today.
All right, chat, we're going to try.
Estes cited to
Let me see here.
the dissenting opinion in Rideau, which is very curious because that dissenting opinion, Rideau was a change of venue case. And what the dissenting opinion held is that the court.
Okay, so we're going to try. I'm going to try Court TV here because this is getting a little ridiculous. See what we can do here about this. Let's see if this fixes it. Okay, I think we're there, chat. All right, hold on. Okay. We can do this.
So it's puzzling that that's what the Estes court would
Also, let me know if you guys can hear this.
rely on as supposedly constructing some kind of rule about publishing a defendant's admissions. In addition to that, Estes has no analysis of that point from Rideau, again, it's just one sentence, and Estes itself was a case about televising a trial. It wasn't about pretrial publicity of a defendant's admission or confession. And as we noted in the brief, subsequently, the Supreme Court has limited, although it hasn't expressly overruled Estes, it's limited that case to its very narrow facts. So it's difficult to see what precedential value that one sentence from Rideau could have on this issue before the court. Even if it could have some applicability here, the circumstances in Rideau are starkly different from the circumstances here, the types of statements from defendant that we're talking about. In Rideau, what the police did was orchestrated a recording of an uncounseled, unmirandized police interrogation. The police recorded that interrogation. It was leading questions. They recorded the defendant answering those leading questions. And then it was the police that immediately released that recording to the press, who then publicized and televised that. The defendant confessing to police, answering the police's questions. That's not the types of statements that we're dealing with in this case. What we're dealing with are statements that defendant voluntarily made to close friends and associates of him and his roommate.
It's all doing it.
Sorry,
This is getting ridiculous. Everywhere I go, it's
one
doing
other point about Rideau
No, I don't know what to
and
do.
that dissenting opinion. It's interesting that in that dissenting opinion, that judge that the court relied on in Estes continued on in his opinion and said it's an impossible standard to require that a trial court be a laboratory that's completely sterilized and free from any external factors. So again, it's hard to see how Rideau has any precedential value, and even if it did, the circumstances are completely different than from the types of statements that we're dealing with here. The state has also cited to several other courts that have easily distinguished Rideau and have made it clear that there is no blanket ban on publishing, especially just in court, a defendant's voluntary admissions. I think the most interesting case is the Sixth Circuit case, because there it dealt with essentially the issue that we're dealing with here, which is publication of a defendant's statements during a preliminary hearing. And that case is especially important, the DeLeslie case, because there that confession was ultimately held to be inadmissible. So an inadmissible confession was played to the public and interested media members so that in a way that it had, as if it had been played in a preliminary hearing. And even though that confession was subsequently publicized and ultimately held to be inadmissible at trial, the court did not hold that that was a violation of the defendant's fundamental rights there, that the court could deal with that through voir dire. It was not inherently prejudicial. And then the state has also cited to the Ohio case of Mamon, and then also the Alabama case, Burgess versus State, where those courts reached essentially the same holdings, easily distinguishing the Rideau sentence from Estes and making it clear that there's no blanket ban on publishing a defendant's admissions, and also that Rideau is easily distinguishable. And because the court can deal with those pretrial publicity issues in the way that we've discussed several times already through the tools that the court has available in selecting the jury. I think it's also important to point out that transparency is critical in this case. This court's noted repeatedly the extensive media coverage. That's why we're having to take this additional time in these hearings to be able to discuss these issues. And transparency is critical to the state's right and the people's right to a fair trial, where there's a vacuum in the evidence that just fuels speculation. And then finally, as has already been argued, it's critical to the victim's right to be able to attend the hearing. That's a hollow promise if the victim representative is only able to be here physically, but then is shielded from some of the evidence. Does the court have any questions?
No, not
Thank you.
at this time. Mr. Novak.
Thank you, Your Honor. The parallel between Mr. Robinson's case and the Rideau case is this. Mr. Rideau's confession was televised by an act of the state. It wasn't a confession broadcast through a courtroom. It was a confession made at law enforcement and then broadcast by action of the state. And that's what gives rise to the constitutional problem, which is its state action, which violated Mr. Rideau's right to a fair trial. This court has granted the media's request to electronically publish this entire proceeding. That's state action. And the state has supported the media's request over Mr. Robinson's objection. So that is also state action. So that's the parallel. If there were no cameras in this courtroom we would not have a problem. And in fact, Ms. Kirk's attorney's briefing seeks a remedy which has nothing to do with the cameras in the courtroom. What Ms. Kirk's counsel seeks is the opportunity for people in the courtroom to see the evidence. So the state is going even further than Ms. Kirk's counsel. The state wants to publish what it calls confessions in the same way, essentially, that the state published Mr. Rideau's confession. Now, the only other thing I want to talk about is that Mr. Ballard's correct that the blanket rule that there is unrebuttable prejudice that's stated in Rideau. We could talk about why dissenting judges say, oh my God, the court has established a rule and I don't like it. That's what's going on there. But it was in the Skilling case, Supreme Court decision in 2010, where the court said, yes, we really are going to let judges decide whether potential juror exposure to pre-trial publicity makes them unable to serve. But there is an extreme case. That's not my language. That's the Supreme Court's language in Skilling. There are extreme.
I don't know what they're doing yet, but this is going on, and it's just like, it's absolutely asinine what we're arguing about here at this point.
Cases of pretrial publicity where prejudice is going to be presumed. And so that's obviously about what has to be proven in terms of prejudice. But when it's an extreme case, what the Supreme Court is saying, Skilling, is there's a presumption. And I believe that this court has already made findings over the last 9 months that this is an extreme case with respect to the quantum of pretrial publicity, the way in which it's being monitored by the public, the speed with which these proceedings, even this week, are being dissected and broadcast through all of the technology channels that we have. So it's our view that this is the extreme case that the Supreme Court talked about in Skilling. We wouldn't have any state action giving rise to this problem if we didn't have cameras in the courtroom. And that's why we think that Exhibits 16.1, 16.2, and 16.3 need to be managed in the way we've asserted. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Ballard.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just briefly, Mr. Novak's misrepresented the state's position. We're not going beyond what the victim representative has asked for. As we made clear in our briefing this morning, that we filed this morning, we are asking that these exhibits, unredacted, be published in the courtroom, not electronically, but they be published in the courtroom. It's not the camera in the courtroom that's the problem. And the issue here is the public's right. This is a public hearing. The court's ruled that it's a public hearing. Kearns Tribune recognizes that preliminary hearings are public, and the public that is here in this courtroom should be able to see the exhibits that are admitted and that the court is going to rely on. And that is even more important to the victim representative's right to be able to be present and to observe these proceedings. Thank you.
Counsel?
Your Honor, if I may, I'll be brief. I want to begin by saying thank you to both the parties, to the state, to the defense, to the court. Today, the time that's being taken today and the nimbleness that's required to talk about things like the transcript in open court is a challenge. I recognize that it presents difficulties and that it takes time. And I want to begin by thanking both the parties and the court for taking the time to do that. It's important to the public, and I appreciate the court doing that. I know the public does as well. The only thing that I want to say with respect to this question about admissions,
You're like, it worked for like 10 minutes, and now it's like dicking up again.
is something that I hope will help the court. The court is looking at Rideau. It's looking at Estes.
Even Andrew's losing
50 or
it
60 years ago in a
good.
different media environment under the United States Supreme Court. I want to urge the court to do what the court has done before, and that's to look at Algier. This is a 2011 Utah Supreme Court case. It's obviously in the wake of Rideau. It's obviously in the wake of Estes. It's here in this state. Unanimous Utah Supreme Court.
Yeah, I'm skipping ahead. I'm not listening to all this. It's just, let's get to the witnesses. I can't keep doing this and listening to them argue about the goddamn cases like that.
There should be a
I normally don't do that, but I can't keep. We are beating a fucking dead horse.
water bottle to your left, and after you're situated, if you wouldn't mind adjusting that microphone and bringing it close to you so the record can pick up your testimony. Ms. Hunt, your witness.
And just for the record and the court's benefit, we have made the edits that the court has ordered. We have shown them to defense. Pursuant to the timestamps that the court ordered, we wanted those to be reflected very clearly. So there are sometimes large gaps of just black, empty, silent space. When there are large gaps, we will fast forward. Some of those are short.
Dix, you're wondering how it's going? It's going really bad for Tyler. It's kind of expected. They're going to have a lot of evidence to prove he did this.
enough that we'll just let it play, if the court is okay with that, with proceeding that way.
Thank you. I appreciate giving a heads up so all parties know what's going on. Thank you, Ms. Hunt.
So at this time, we would move to publish on the monitors State's Exhibit 16.
All right. And to the media, there's a monitor for your benefit right there next to you. For the camera, there is one for that direction as well as for the gallery.
This meeting is to use your statement here instead of your testimony at a preliminary hearing. Understand that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so in order to do that, I need to place you under oath and also give you an admonition about false statements. Okay. First, you do solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give in this issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Come on!
So help you God? Yes.
Okay, seriously, we've reset the router. I know you guys are babbling about the internet stuff. We had Spectrum. We switched it over to somebody else. I don't know what's going on. I don't. I wish I knew. Downloading it's not making it any better because then it just sounds like hammer dog shit. I wish I knew what's going on. This is getting very frustrating because this is like never had this problem ever before of this just like stroke mode on the internet. And it has nothing to do with it going at 1.5 speed. Somebody brought that up earlier. You run it slower, it's still having problems. So that's never been a problem ever before.
Notify you that you are notified that statements you are about to make may be presented to a magistrate or a judge in lieu of your sworn testimony at a preliminary examination. Any false statement you make and that you do not believe to be true may subject you to criminal punishment as a Class A misdemeanor. Understand that?
Yes.
It potentially could be used as for punishment as a higher offense as obstruction of justice. In addition, I just want to make sure that our recording here is clear that you've also been given a federal agreement and a state agreement granting you immunity from prosecution for materials you discuss now. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First, we're going to cover some of the things that you've already talked about. But
here we go. Here's Lan.
As part of this record. First, what's your name?
Full name with middle name or just first and last?
First and last is fine.
Okay, my name is Lance Twiggs.
And do you know Tyler Robinson?
Yes, I do.
This was the female in the relationship. Remember, you seen those pictures? Like he's woo and his little dog towel. My name's Lance. Woo. It's like, Jesus Christ. Tyler really was a twink. I thought they were both twinks at first.
Well, yeah, I do.
And this is the same Tyler Robinson that's been charged with the shooting of Charlie Kirk.
Yes.
And would you say when you first met Tyler?
I think it was 2023. I've known him longer than that, though. That was, I think, the first time I met him in person.
Okay. And we described your relationship with Tyler when you first met him anyway.
When I first met him, I didn't know him super well. He was just a new roommate.
Jesus.
I knew he knew my friend group, and I knew he liked playing games. But that's about it when we first, when he first moved in.
Okay. Before we go on, I realized my mic was muted at the outset. Was yours on? Your microphone?
No.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to repeat those admonitions just to make sure we've got before it. Okay. So, again, I placed you under oath. Just to make a record, I'm going to do it again. You do solemnly swear that the evidence you shall give in this issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
And again, I'm going to give you the false statement admonition.
Sorry, hold on. And they're saying that it's echoing, so
I think this one's mic is on.
okay, sorry.
Okay, you don't own my mic, but that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so we should be good. All right. Is that mic on?
Sorry, chat. I don't know. Like, it literally just StreamYard disconnected and quit working. So, sorry. Give me a second here. This is just, it's getting very infuriating here. So, let's just back this up a hair. I don't know how far back you guys couldn't hear. So, they're fags if you weren't aware.
Progressed to something more than 3 months, is that right?
Mhm.
When was that?
I think we started dating 2 or 3 months after he moved in.
Okay. And where did you live at that time?
St. George, in an apartment complex.
And is that apartment the same place you lived when on September 10th?
Yes.
When you lived there with Tyler, were you in the same room? Did you live in the same room or different rooms?
Separate rooms.
And at that time, let's say September of 2025, what were you doing with your life? Were you working, school?
I was working. I was doing like that and
All right, guys. I think we might be in business here. Let's see what happens. All right, here we go.
To September 10th.
Yeah, he did. Yes.
Do you know when he left the apartment on September 10th?
I don't know an exact time. I just know he left early. I heard him leaving, and he just said he had a long drive to work that day, so he was leaving early.
Okay, so early. Any guess as to what when that was?
I don't know. I would have thought it was 5 a.m. because that's when like an early work day was for him, but it was probably more like 4.
Okay.
I'm going to stand this down just to make sure that
I can do that.
you know, you're right in front of your laptop.
Here you go.
Thank you.
All right, so what time did you get up on September 10th?
Probably like 12 to 1 p.m.
You didn't have to work that day?
No.
And did you hear from Tyler? Did he call or text you before then?
No, he sent that message in the group chat I mentioned, but he didn't message me directly at all that day.
Okay. When did you first hear from him on September 10th?
It was at 11 o'clock with that like automated message.
Okay, 11 p.m.
Yeah.
What about, he asks you here, remember how I was engraving bullets? Was he engraving bullets before this?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when, but he had said he was planning to go hunting with his family. And he asked me for if we had like a Dremel because he said he wanted to engrave messages on bullets. And I just told him where a Dremel was and I told him to make sure he doesn't like set off the bullet on accident in the house. But I didn't really think about it until then.
How long before September 10th was this that he asked about the Dremel?
I don't remember because he'd been talking about the trip for a couple months.
Number 54. Okay, the notes have been titled 16.3 with a note.
And remember, these are the redacted parts, so we don't get to see what they're talking about.
Base number 58.
So, like I said, I'm sorry.
Do you
guys, not working.
recognize that on the screen there?
Yeah.
What do you recognize it as?
That was the note under his keyboard that he was referring to in the first text of that chain.
Okay, so where did you find this?
On his desk underneath his computer keyboard.
And what, I assume you read it?
Yeah.
And then what did you do with it after you read it?
I believe I just put it back down on the desk after I took a picture of it.
Okay. And again, the time you read it was probably around 11 o'clock or so on the 10th.
Yes.
The night of September 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And did you ever see that again after you placed it back on his desk?
No, I don't think I did.
And that was a desk in his bedroom?
Yes.
And that's a separate bedroom than your bedroom?
Yeah.
And I want to go to.
I think it's
what's
about to
entitled
happen again, Chad.
16.2.
Sorry.
And do you recognize this series of messages here?
Yeah, that was the server, like his friend that I was mentioning.
Okay, and this is your phone again?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you recognize it because it's a big crack up at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a server. Is this Discord?
Yeah, this is Discord.
And who are members of this server? I don't want names, just generally, who are these people?
This is his friend group. They play D&D together every week.
Okay. And I just want to scroll through this to make sure that you get a chance to take a look at it. Go to the next page.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So Tyler Icom, who's that?
That's Tyler Robinson.
And these other people are just others that are members of the server?
Yes.
Jug, Barnaby, Marina, DM.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, like DM means Dungeon Master. So this is, these are like, most of them are names they're using in the game they're playing currently.
Got it. Yeah, it looks like the last text from Tyler looks like it's 8 p.m. And do you know what day this would have been? 8 p.m. on the 10th or the 11th?
I would think that would be the 11th. Because at least I think so, because I don't think on the 10th that he messaged anyone before me at like 11. So.
And he turned himself in on the 11th, right?
I thought so, yeah.
Okay. So again, we're just going to go through this so that we have a record of the messages. Is that an accurate recording of that thread?
To my knowledge, yes.
And that was sent, looks like between September 10th and September 12th. Looks like the last day on this is September 12th. Screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so again, those messages covered from September 10th to the evening of September 11th. Now, September 11th, what time did you see Tyler on September 11th?
Yes.
When did you first see him on September 11th? So this is the day after the shooting?
Yeah, I saw him when I woke up. Like I said, he was up and around doing a lot of stuff around the house. And then I think I saw him after that message where I said I'll come home and say I'm doing laundry, because I didn't want him going to my parents' house right then when he said there was probably cops outside. So I went back home, and it was just him there, and I said bye to him, and then he drove off. So I just went back to my parents' house.
So he acted erratically. Was he pacing? Was he just sitting down, relaxing?
No, he was walking around a lot.
Right, and that's within the home.
Mm-hmm.
And did he talk about what he had done?
Didn't go into detail. I just asked him in person if what he said was true the night before, and he said it was. I started crying a little bit and said he wishes he hadn't done it, and then kept going around and just doing stuff, I think, to keep himself busy or distracted or something.
Okay. Did he talk about what he was going to do next?
And then eventually he said that he would talk to his parents or turn himself over.
Okay. And when you left, was that how you left understanding that he was going to turn himself in or go to his parents' house?
Yeah, and I didn't really want to be at our apartment while any of that was happening, regardless of what went down.
Okay. Okay, before he came home, had you seen the press releases, any of the media on this?
I'd seen one Instagram link a friend of mine had sent in our group chat,
okay,
but I hadn't really looked into it at all.
And had you seen the images that were released of the suspect?
I did the next day. I don't think I saw any on the 10th.
I'm going to show you a couple of those images. Okay, I'm on the FBI's website. You can see the URL there at the top. This is a press release about this event. And here on the screen, you see these, looks like there's 2 rows of 3 images.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recognize the person in these images?
I wouldn't say it with 100% certainty just because of camera quality, but that looks like him in terms of the shoes he's wearing, the sunglasses. I don't think I'd specifically seen him wearing that hat, but he was usually wearing a hat, and then jeans. So it definitely, especially the bottom, the last two, definitely do look like him. Oh, they do look like Tyler Robinson.
And you talked about that with your friends, right? This looks like him.
Yeah, his friends. Yeah, I don't know if I talked. I don't remember if I talked about it with any of my friends. And then since I didn't have my phone after that for a while, and I still am not using social media, I don't.
Okay. All right. I want to back up a little bit now. We talked about September 10th, but let me get a little bit of context here. So, did you game with Tyler?
Yeah.
What kind of games?
Played some just kind of party games together, like stuff, anything that would be multiplayer with a group of friends. There was one game he really liked called Sea of Thieves, where he plays like a pirate, and you can fight against people, but most of it's just like fishing, fighting sharks, skeletons, kind of stuff. We played some co-op games where it's like you both have to work together to win in whatever way. Way back when I was just out of high school, when I first knew him online, we played some like shooting games together, but I didn't know him very well, so that was just when we had like a full friend group on to play, and he was someone that my friends invited.
Okay. Did you and he ever talk about politics?
He did more than me. I don't really keep up with politics very much. He'd usually talk about stuff he heard on the radio on his drive to work in like their work car, since it sounds like their whole crew went in the same car most of the time. But I wouldn't say super consistently, because it wasn't a topic I really contributed much on.
What about Charlie Kirk? Did you ever talk about Charlie Kirk?
I personally had never heard him talk about Charlie Kirk before specifically.
Okay. How about political issues? So did you ever talk about gender identity issues and LGBTQ rights?
No, not really. Usually if he did talk about politics stuff, it was relating to Trump or current like policies being like issued or voted on, I think. But yeah.
Okay, so before that you had been?
For a short time, yes.
Okay. And I understand you're going by Luna at some point?
To some people, yeah, but not as an overall thing.
Which makes things very weird, chat, because remember, we're told by everybody else that, oh, well, his mom and dad heard him talk about how he hated Charlie Kirk, and he expressed how he felt about things. But his boyfriend, Lance is like, I've never heard him say that stuff. So how does this all work out then? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Okay. Okay. I think that's all the questions I have for this portion. Let me check and see if I missed anything.
I do think someone's lying, and it's probably a person named Lance.
Okay. The Dremel that you talked about, you said he had asked for that, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And had he told you it was to inscribe bullets?
Yeah.
And so did you have a Dremel then?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was in our, like, our apartment, we had a section where we kept all our, like, random tools for household stuff in our, like, lower basement level pantry. So, yeah.
Okay. And did you give that to him or tell him where it was?
I just told him where it was, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording for the 1102 purposes.
All right, that concludes State's Exhibit 16. Ms. Hunt.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge. Agent Davis, I asked you yesterday, but I want to remind the court and those present. Were you physically present at the interview we just watched in State's Exhibit 16?
Yes, I was there.
And aside from the court-ordered redactions, did it appear to you to be fair and accurate about what you remember that interview that day?
Yes, I do.
During that interview, did Mr. Twiggs, was he shown or referenced certain items of evidence?
Yes, he was.
What types of items of evidence was he shown?
It was the text messages between himself and Tyler Robinson, a Discord chat messages, and a handwritten note.
And then we also saw in the video, he was also shown the FBI press release photos of the potential suspect.
That's correct, yes.
Have you reviewed all of those items as part of the investigation?
Yes, I have.
You're familiar with them?
Yes.
All right, I want to put just on the witness's screen what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit 16.1. And for the record, this includes the edit that the one edit that the court has previously ordered.
Thank you.
Let me know when you see that on your screen.
Oh, I see it. I see it now.
Do you recognize this?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
This is a photograph of screenshots of text messages between Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs. This is a photograph of Lance's phone.
So sorry, you said photograph. You also said screenshot. Can you differentiate or clarify there?
Yes, sorry. These are photographs directly from Lance's phone.
How do you know that?
In Lance's first interview, he's showing the FBI agents these text messages, describes them to the agents, and at that time his phone was photographed.
And you testified, I believe, yesterday that Mr. Twiggs' first interview was the morning of September 12th, 2025. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Were you physically present at that interview?
No, I was not there.
Have you spoken with the officers or agents that were?
Yes, I've spoken to one of those agents that was there.
And you stated that first September 12th interview of Mr. Twiggs was recorded?
Yes, audio, video recorded.
Have you reviewed that recording?
Yes, I have.
So you stated that we're looking in State's Exhibit 16.1 at a picture of Mr. Twiggs' phone.
Yes.
Do you know who took these photos?
Yes, it was Agent Larson with FBI.
Did you speak with Agent Larson and confirm that?
I did.
And you kind of made reference to this already, but how did Mr. Twiggs initially show law enforcement the relevant text messages?
Yeah, during that first interview on September 12th, he physically, he shows them the phone and then allows them to photograph the phone.
And does he identify it as his phone in that interview?
Yes, he does.
Does he refer to any particular features of the phone that allows him to make that identification?
I believe the second interview, he refers to the large crack in the upper left screen. So he identifies that from in his second interview that was given on April 20th.
And according to your review of the recording of his first interview and in speaking with the agents that were there, did he have his personal phone with him at the time of the September 12th interview?
Yes, he did.
And was this same text thread that we're seeing in State's Exhibit 16.1 shown to him during his second interview let me get the date right, April 20th, 2026 at the Utah County Attorney's Office that we just observed part of in State's Exhibit 16?
Yes, it was shown to him.
Was he asked how Tyler Robinson is
And there we go,
saved in
chat.
some, like as contact?
Yeah, just as Tyler.
Hey, buddy.
Without saying it, obviously, did he identify Tyler Robinson's phone number?
Yes, he did.
Did you check the number that Mr. Twiggs gave as Tyler Robinson's phone number against law enforcement records?
Yes, I did.
And do they match?
Yes, they match.
Is State's Exhibit 16.1 a fair and accurate representation of the text thread or the relevant text thread between Mr. Twiggs and Mr. Robinson?
Yes, it is.
As part of the investigation, was a cell write extraction performed on Mr. Twiggs' phone?
Yes, it was.
Did you personally review that extraction?
Yes, I have.
And according to that extraction, did Mr. Robinson and Mr. Twiggs exchange text messages on September 10th through 11th, 2025?
Yes, they did.
What time was that first text sent according to the cell write extraction?
The first text was September 10th
Yes, I
at
want it.
11 p.m.
All right, Judge, I would move to admit State's Exhibit 16.1, and then pursuant to court order, I would move to publish it to the monitors.
Mr. Novak.
We have no further objections beyond those that the court, of course, is very familiar with at this point in time.
All right, I'll note the standing objections made by defense. Those objections are overruled. This 16.1 is admitted into evidence and may be published to the gallery as well as electronically distributed through the camera.
All right, Agent, I'm not going to go through every single message, but I do want to have you read aloud certain portions of them. And I apologize to counsel, these are not actually given a page number. I have page numbers, but I'm happy to confer that we're on the same page as we go. So here we're looking at page 1 of State's Exhibit 16.1. If you could read a little more than halfway down where it begins Wednesday, 11 p.m. Will you start reading underneath that?
Yes. So this would have been from Tyler. It says, drop what you're doing, look under your keyboard.
And I apologize. Let me stop you there. How do you know that that message would have been from Tyler Robinson?
That's just so any of the messages in gray would be from Tyler. and messages in blue would be from Lance. Just with iPhone, distinguishes the messages.
Now we're
Also,
getting to
Lance-
text
Lance
messages.
in his
Yeah,
interview
although
also
remember,
acknowledges that.
remember, Chad, we've heard a lot of these already in the search warrants.
Who's saying what?
And up at the top, who do we see that this thread is between?
Tyler.
All right, sorry to interrupt you. So read that again, starting from look under the keyboard.
So after that, then Lance responds. He says, "What?" And then he says, "You're joking, right?" And then Tyler says, "Fuck, I tried to delete that."
We could scroll down to page 2. And if you can continue reading along.
Okay. Then Tyler says, "I'm still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you." And then Lance replies, "You weren't the one who did it, right?" And Tyler says, "I am, I'm sorry." And Lance says, "I thought they caught the person." And then Tyler says, "No, they grabbed some crazy old dude and interrogated someone in similar clothing. I planned to grab my rifle from the drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering."
We could scroll down to page 3. Continue reading.
And Lance says, "Why?" And Tyler says, "Why did I do it?" And Lance says, "Yeah." Tyler says, "I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything in the news about them finding it. We'll update you shortly. Or sorry, we'll update you by midnight." And then Lance says, "All right, stay safe. How long have you been planning this?"
Scroll down a little bit, please, Kimberly.
And Tyler replies, "A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it."
We can scroll down to page 4 and continue reading about halfway down. I'll stop you about halfway down.
It says, "While they were a spot, but I don't want to chance it while they were parked there. If they'd found it, I imagine there would be more commotion. Again, I'm sorry for roping you into all of this. You shouldn't have to worry about this." And Lance replies, "Does anyone else know?" Tyler says, "Not to my knowledge."
All right, I'll stop you there. Let's move to page 5. So this should be page 4. So just scroll down 1, please, Kimberly. And if you could read starting, sorry, Kimberly, scroll a bit more down. If you could read, I don't know, about 1/3 of the way up that starts with guess.
Okay. Tyler says, guess I'm just sitting in my car watching reels for another hour, hoping this guy fucks off."
And continue.
And Lance says, "Are you okay still?" And Tyler says, "Yes, check and spot again now. We'll
Sorry, now we're on page 6. Continue reading.
we'll update soon." He continues, "The squad car was moved further away enough that I should be able to move in. I backed off because I thought I heard footsteps, maybe a foot patrol, but the crickets here are so fucking loud. Gonna see if the road closer to campus is open so I can drive past and check shit out. Probably still closed off though. Getting worried, hard to know for sure, but I'm not finding my rifle. Could be in the wrong spot." Lance says, "Do you think they found it?" And Tyler says, "Don't know. They haven't published anything if they have." And then Lance says, "Why did you leave it behind?"
Oh, sorry, Kimberly, if you could scroll down.
Originally. Also, does it have a serial number?
We could scroll to page 7. And I'll continue reading. I'll stop you on this page in a little bit.
Okay. So Tyler continues, IDEK, if I had it.
That's an interesting question by Lance. Why did you leave it behind? Why are you asking about that? That seems a little weird.
If I had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me, I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with.
And stop there, please. And then if we could go to the next page, page 8. And if you could start at the top.
Okay, so Lance says, "Was your change of clothes there or was that also gone? Or did you bring those with you originally? Anyway, you could replace the gun, or would he notice?" And then Tyler says, "Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. I'll bet that canine sniffed it out. Little snitching bastard. Replace it unlikely. I don't fully know what the gun was because it was old as shit and Gramps did some modifying. There was a 4-digit serial on it. God only knows who it's registered to. Hopefully some dead guy who gave it to Grandpa." And he continues, "Remember how I was engraving bullets? The fucking messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge UWU on Fox News, I might have a stroke."
And then continue. I'll stop you in a moment.
He says, "All right, I'm going to have to leave it. That really fucking sucks."
Let me stop you there. And then if we could go on to the next page, page 9.
Wait,
And do you
wait, was there just a shout out to EWU? I don't want to get on EWU. Was that really, did I just hear that right? That's pretty fucking hilarious. If they're like worried about all that happening. It's like, I don't want to be on the internet. No. Uh-oh. You son of a bitch. That's pretty funny. Or was it uwu? Oh, they were saying uwu. Oh, okay. Oh, he doesn't say. He just says UWU. Oh, okay. Like uwu. 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 It states the most bulges. Ooh, okay. I couldn't see. I was dealing with Clyde. So, ew.
See the first blue message we see on page 9. Can you start there?
Yes. So Lance says, "Do you need it for hunting?" And Tyler says, "No, my dad wanted to use a high caliber for the rifle hunt. Judging from today, I say your amp's gun does just fine. IDK. I think that was a 2K scope." Lance says, "Geez." And then Tyler says, "OMW home 3.5 hours." Lance says, "Drive safe." And then Tyler says, "Delete this exchange."
And I'll stop you right there. And then, sorry, we're on page 9. If we can scroll to page 15. And then the second grade message on page 15, if you could start there.
Okay. So this is Tyler. "I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. We hope to keep things sort of quiet here."
And then I'll stop you there.
Yeah.
And we can remove the exhibit from the screen. Thank you, Kimberly. We mentioned a Cellbrite extraction of Mr. Twiggs' phone. Do you know what time that last text was sent?
Yeah, I recall it was just before 8 p.m. on September 11th. It was, I think, 7:42 p.m. is my recollection.
I'm sorry, September 11th?
Yes.
Would September 12th make sense? Or you're saying September 11th?
So September 11th was when we turned himself in.
Okay.
And September 11th. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to show just for the witness, State's Exhibit 16.2. Let me know when you see that.
Okay, see it.
Do you recognize this?
I do. Yep.
What is it?
This is just more photos of Lance's phone. And these are these are the sorry, how to play a break. Sorry, go with your question, please.
I'm just asking what it is. So you said it's a photo of Lance's phone. Do you know if that's from the same time period as the exhibit we just looked at?
Yes.
And what is it of?
These are the Discord messages of that Lance had talked about.
How do you know that?
So Lance, in the first interview with FBI, shows the phone. The photos are taken by Agent Larson, and then these images are shown to Lance during a second interview, and he confirms that these are those same messages, and this is photos of Lance's phone.
You mentioned an Agent Larson took the photos. Do you know if he's the same agent that took the photos of this exhibit 16.2?
Yes, same agent.
And you spoke with him to confirm that?
Yes, I did.
Are you aware if Mr. Twiggs is actually part of this Discord thread?
Yes, he is a part of it. He doesn't, in this section, he doesn't reply to it, but he does state in his statement that he was part of the thread.
Does he identify whether Mr. Robinson is part of that thread?
He does.
And when did that happen?
Come on, internet.
He identifies that in his first interview with the two FBI agents, and then he again confirms that in a second interview.
Did Mr. Twiggs say what username on Discord Mr. Robinson used, at least with respect to this thread?
Yes, it's the Tyler/ICUM, IKUM.
And is Exhibit 16.2 a fair and accurate representation of that Discord thread?
Yes, it is.
Did law enforcement send, as part of your investigation, did law enforcement send a subpoena to Discord?
Yes, they did.
Were these messages recovered via that subpoena?
They were.
Did you review that?
Yes, I did.
And in State's Exhibit 16.2 that is before you, when is the first message from Tyler sent?
7:57 p.m.
And it says yesterday. Do you have any knowledge of what day that would have been?
Yes, this would have been September 11th.
So Tyler sends the first message that you're seeing on Exhibit 16.2, September 11th at 7:57 p.m.
Yes, that's correct.
You testified earlier that Mr. Robinson arrived at the Washington County Sheriff's Office approximately at 9 p.m. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
And although you weren't physically present there yet because you were flying down, how do you know that he arrived approximately around 9 p.m.?
Just based on the police reports I reviewed and then go back and look at the video and such.
Judge, the state moves to admit State's Exhibit 16.2 and publish it pursuant to court order.
Mr. Novak.
Thank you, Your Honor. We've already lodged all of our objections on all three phases.
All right. Noting the objections, standing objections by defense. State's Exhibit 16.2 is admitted into evidence and may be published only in the gallery, not for distribution on electronic media.
Yeah, Ryan got hurt, guys, so we had to do another day for this stuff. So right now he's talking off camera. Yeah, isn't that kind of like, I kind of get the feeling here, because we go back to read this.
He's sort of quiet here.
And then I'll stop you there.
Okay.
And we can remove
Let's go back to read this.
roll to page 15.
You know, and we go through all this.
Tyler, I'm gonna
And
Which was
you can see, sorry, I went too far back because the judge is being quiet. I don't think the judge is happy with some stuff.
and he confirms that in a second interview.
Did Mr. Twigg say what username on Discord Mr. Robinson used, at least with respect to this thread?
Yes, it's the Tyler/Ikum, IKUM.
And is Exhibit 16.2 a fair and accurate representation of that Discord thread?
Yes, it is.
Did law enforcement send, as part of your investigation, did law enforcement send a subpoena to Discord?
Yes, they did.
Were these messages recovered via that subpoena?
They were.
Did you review that?
Yes, I did.
And in State's Exhibit 16.2 that is before you, when is the first message from Tyler sent?
7:57 p.m.
And it says yesterday. Do you have any knowledge of what day that would have been?
Yes, this would have been September 11th.
So Tyler sends the first message that you're seeing on Exhibit 16.2, September 11th at 7:57 p.m.
Yes, that's correct.
You testified earlier that Mr. Robinson arrived at the Washington County Sheriff's Office approximately at 9 p.m. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
And although you weren't physically present there yet because you were flying down, how do you know that he arrived approximately around 9 p.m.?
Just based on the police reports I reviewed and then go back and look
Yep.
at the video and such.
That was his name, Tyler Ikum. Yeah.
Judge, the state moves to admit State's Exhibit 16.2 and publish it pursuant to court order.
Mr. Novak.
Thank you, Your Honor. We've already lodged all of our objections on all three phases.
All right. Noting the objections, standing objections by defense. State's Exhibit 16.2 is admitted into evidence and may be published only in the gallery, not for distribution on electronic media.
The judge looks very upset. Judge is not looking happy here. So this is still silent, chat. I don't know why it's silent right now. It doesn't look happy though. Okay, here we go.
For our investigations.
You mentioned that you don't. All right, I'm going to break down a few things. You mentioned, I just want to make sure the record's clear. You mentioned
Sorry,
get
chat.
this photograph.
So following Lance's first interview at St. George PD, his phone is recovered at that point, taken into evidence. It is downloaded, I believe it was the following day or shortly after that. The FBI transported that phone to the RCFL, which is the Regional Computer Forensic Laboratory in Salt Lake City. The phone was downloaded through Celebrite, and after that, following that download was complete, SBI received a flash drive containing that download. From there, it went to a SIAC analyst to go through that data of his phone to look for any pertinent evidence or information that may be on there. And at that point, that this image of this letter was located.
All right, I'm going to break down a few things. You mentioned, I just want to make sure the record's clear. You mentioned Celebrite a few times. What is Celebrite?
It's a downloading software that's commonly used by law enforcement. I don't do that myself, but it's commonly used to recover data to download electronic devices. decoding cell phones.
And then you mentioned SIAC. What does that mean?
It's the Statewide Information Analysis Center. It's a division within DPS. That's a fusion center. They assist law enforcement with intelligence, various intelligence information for our investigations.
You mentioned that you don't personally do Cellbrite phone extractions. Have you spoken to the law enforcement officers that performed the Cellbrite extraction on Mr. Twig's phone in this case?
I don't believe I specifically talked to those individuals, RCFL, that did that. But they, yeah, that has been provided to SBI.
Did you speak with officers at SBI that have recovered this photo that we're seeing in State's Exhibit 16.3?
Yes, I've spoken to, I have spoken with an SIAC analyst who particularly found this image. I've spoken to her personally as well.
Was Mr. Twiggs shown what's been marked as State's Exhibit 16.3 during his second interview?
Yes, he was.
And again, you were present for that?
Yes, I was there.
Is Exhibit 16.3 a fair and accurate representation of the photo law enforcement obtained from Mr. Twiggs' phone and that he was subsequently shown in the second interview?
Yes, it's fair and accurate.
Your Honor, the state would move to admit Exhibit 16.3 and then also order.
Mr. Novak.
Just noting the objections that have previously been made, and I think that the court's order is that it may be published in the courtroom only.
Thank you. Noting the standing objection by defense, 16.3, correct?
Correct.
Is admitted into evidence and may be published only in the courtroom and not be shown or videoed.
All right. Well, we're not going to be. I still think we end up seeing this based on what I've been told. So, only 79 likes. Yes, Chad. I'd like some more likes if you guys could help me out here. Help a brother out. Let's see if we can just come on. Quit cutting the audio, Judge. They're cutting out big chunks of stuff. Come on.
The objection, the standing objections by defense, that is overruled as it relates to the admission to 5.1. But going to the publication, the court understands the argument made by defense that this is going toward perhaps religion, and that the enhancement, and let me just read that from the information, victim targeting enhancement violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2. Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression, and that was also noted as an enhancement for count 2 and count 7. The court is not going to engage, the court can weigh how this is applied, but it finds it relevant. How it relates to the enhancement is for the court to weigh as it looks at the bind-over decision, and is not engaging in that decision-making today, but finds that it is relevant, it is admissible to the court, and is publishable to the gallery as well as to the public. And so if the state wishes to publish State's Exhibit 5.1, it may do so at this time.
Thank you. Yes, we do. And Kimberly, I don't know if we want to use the same kind of slow scrolling. Thank you.
Here we go, chat. We're going to get this higher resolution.
All right, I believe that should be sufficient. And Agent Davis, I apologize. I'm going to take you very briefly back to State's Exhibit 16.1, which is a text thread between Mr. Robinson and Mr. Twiggs.
Thank you all, Ryan Raiders, for showing up. I appreciate that. So yeah, guys, welcome. We're Chapin Girl. How you doing, man? I saw you were looking for Clyde, and he stopped by earlier. Family Jams is what's up. Yeah. How are you guys all doing? We don't have a hurt back over here. We got strong backs. We got strong backs and steel toes. So, to quote Brooks and Dunn. Has there been a jury yet? No, Roscoe. Remember, this is just a preliminary hearing. We're not even to the part of, do we even go to trial yet? That hasn't actually been decided. We have to decide first, is there probable cause to continue the case at all? So that's what we're doing. No charge outside tonight? No, I put up a post on YouTube for that. So you can't see them. The cameraman sucked today. Okay. Well,
Kimberly, if you could turn to page 17. And because this has already been admitted and, court, correct me if I'm wrong, published not only to the gallery but to cameras at large, I'd ask that it be displayed in that fashion again.
All right. Any input from any other party on that request? No. All right, thank you. It may be published, and the media may pick this up as well.
Agent Davis, if I can direct you to the very last message on that page, starting with if any, if you could read that out loud.
Okay. This is Tyler. He says, if any police ask you questions, sorry, let me start over. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. My lawyer should be Doug Terry. I'll see if he can reach out to you and make sure the police follow.
Okay, thank you. That's all I need from that exhibit. And then finally, Agent Davis, you testified before that you flew down to Washington County Sheriff's Office and observed Tyler Robinson there, correct?
Correct.
You got his name there?
Yes.
You stated that you transported or assisted transporting him up to Utah County Jail?
Yes.
And that you were the booking officer?
That's correct.
Do you recognize Tyler Robinson here in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
If you could point him out and briefly describe something that he's wearing.
His individual seated at the defendant's table in the center chair with a gray suit coat and a green tie.
Your Honor, if record could reflect identification of the defendant.
Counsel? No. All right. I'll note for the purposes of this hearing only that Agent Davis has identified Mr. Robinson in court. Thank you.
And Judge, if I can just have a moment.
You may.
Ready to pass the witness. Thank you. And I don't know, now would be a good time for lunch.
All right. We'll go ahead and break right now for lunch for 1 hour, 1 hour and 5 minutes. Let's come back at 1:30. We'll resume.
all right, chat. We are going to skip ahead
We'll pick
here.
up the defense for cross-examination if they choose for Agent Davis. Does either party need the benefit of the record?
So, chat, remember, we can go all gas, no brakes. Here we go. Here we go.
Sergeant Falmuina, good afternoon.
Isn't that awesome how we could just skip? We could skip. That's what we do here.
Good afternoon.
We briefly covered some of your involvement in this case the other day. I want to return back to your initial assignment to this case. When were you first assigned to go to the campus of Utah Valley University?
On September 10th of 2025.
What time did you get that assignment?
Peter Keys re-upping. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate it. Ag biochemist for 39 months. Says, never bring your jizz rag to a crime scene. Yes, very true. And Jefferson Post says the defense teams acting like newspapers weren't a thing. Very true. Very true, chat. Anyways, we're going to keep going here, guys. We're going to go till just right about 9. Then I'm going to switch over and get ready for the Thursday night show. So, working on the show prep right now for that. So just hang tight on this as we go here. Keep going.
I believe it was approximately 1:30 p.m.
And where were you when you received that assignment?
I was at a headquarters office in Salt Lake.
And did you go directly down to the campus?
Yes, I did.
And will you describe what you're seeing as you arrived there?
Yes, when I arrived there, I actually arrived near the south end of campus, and that's where I saw multiple police cars as well as multiple officers from various agencies. Then I was asked to respond to our command post, which was in the Fugal building there.
And the Fugal building, we've had some testimony about this, but is that just to the south of the courtyard?
Yes, that is.
This is not the Crucible, so no. We run Somalia rules here, man. We're like the Bakara market. Better strap up, better keep that vest on you and protect your neck. Those are the only rules. The bitches here be fierce, so watch yourself.
And were you there while officers were securing campus?
Yes, I was.
And do you know generally how that was
I don't know the specifics, but I do know that officers were canvassing the area, trying to look for a suspect, but also trying to see if anyone else was injured, and then making sure that the scene was secure and that no unauthorized people were allowed in.
And I think you testified earlier. What was your primary assignment?
My primary assignment at the campus, as well as throughout the case, was to oversee the crime scenes as well as physical evidence.
Before you could do your work on the crime scenes, did the campus have to become secure?
Yes, it did.
And did that involve making sure there was no active shooter on campus?
Yes.
And did that involve officers searching buildings, clearing buildings throughout campus?
Yes.
You mentioned that were there multiple areas that were processed by you and other crime scene analysts in this case?
Yes, there was. Would you like me to go over them?
Let me direct you to a few of them. Oh, yes, please mention the scenes.
Yeah, so one scene was a courtyard area, or I guess what we could also refer to as the amphitheater where the event took place. The other scene would have been the Fulton Library, where there were 2 bus stops, and then another would have been the wooded area, and then the last one would have been the Lolosi Center building, as well as the ground below.
All right, let's start with the rooftop. What was who was assigned to process the rooftop area?
The team that was assigned to process that was the Utah Bureau of Forensic Services, or also known as our state crime lab.
And generally, what does processing an area involve?
Processing includes documentation, sketching, as well as taking photographs, marking, as well as labeling evidence, and then determining how to package them properly, as well as also just trying to ID anything probative.
On the rooftop was evidence found?
Yes.
What types of evidence were found on the rooftop?
One item of evidence that was found was a screwdriver. Another one would have been what we believe was the shooter's perch. That was determined that was easy to see at night. Using oblique lighting, we could see disturbances in the gravel on the rooftop. And then on the northeast edge, our team also found some swipes on the ledge of that rooftop that was also collected.
Okay, so northeast ledge. And is this the dropping off point?
Yes, it is.
You said swipes. What does that mean, swipes?
Swipes is, I would describe it as kind of hand marks or any type of marks that is left by something that causes some type of disturbance.
Okay. And where on the ledge were those located?
Those were located right on the edge of that right on the edge of that rooftop. And then right below, we also had some other swipes as well as some other impressions. And then below that was a glass window where we also located some latent prints.
Okay. I want to return to what you refer to as the perch, the sniper position. Were measurements taken
like
from that
bananas and
sniper
rice
position to the tent where Charlie Kirk was seated?
Yes.
Do you know the distance?
Yeah. So the distance from the perch area directly to the tent where Mr. Kirk was sitting was approximately 415 feet. If you take if you break it down, so from the perch to the tent, you're looking at it basically like this. And this is the perch and this is the tent.
And now you're describing, I'm sorry, I have to make a record. You're describing an angle, a slope downward.
She was pointing a little Romany, chat. It's like, don't let it go out further.
From the perch to the location of the tent. Is that
Yes,
accurate?
I am.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so the angle, so again, the distance, the perch to the tent was approximately 415 feet. If you think about it, or without taking into account the elevation drop, it was actually 410 feet, so just horizontal straight across. And then the elevation difference between that is approximately 68 feet.
Okay, 410 feet from the perch to the tent with a 68-foot vertical drop. Is that right? On the rooftop, were shoe impressions found on the rooftop?
Yes, there was.
Did those who processed that area of the crime scene collect the latent prints and the shoe impressions that you've talked about?
Yes, they did.
And this is a good point to read a stipulation into the record.
Ooh, shall we have a stipulation? So yes, everybody, the defense.
Right. The language of this has been agreed
They're all agreeing to something.
upon by the parties. The parties stipulate that investigators at the crime scene observed
So, what are we agreeing
fingerprints
to?
and a palm print on a glass window
Oh my God. The
near the
internet.
area where the individual landed when the individual jumped from the rooftop of the Lolosi Center at UVU. SBI fingerprint examiner Elisa Farmer examined images of these latent fingerprints and the palm print and determined that only 3 of the latent prints, 11B, 11C, and 11D, were of comparable or of poor comparable value. She excluded Tyler Robinson as the source of any of these 3 latent prints.
Wow. So it's good Tyler Robinson is the source of these prints. Well, remember, she's saying they had poor value, but we also could tell somebody's running off the back of the building. And that person had blankets that had his and Lance's DNA all over them. So it's like, you can put 2 and 2 together, guys.
Farmer reviewed other prints on the window and found that they did not have adequate value for comparison.
Okay.
Subsequent exam.
Yeah, I should just get fiber right out to my house. That's, yeah, like, I'm not going to be like Jeremy and spend $100,000 on shit. Guys, like I said, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. If I could fix it, I would. I don't know what the deal is. 2.0 is trying to help me too. Sorry.
Examinations of these 3 latent or actual latent prints by the FBI were inconclusive. That area that was described in that stipulation, is that?
It was still going live while we were watching it. There's no way to download it. There's no way to download it if it's still live.
The area in the glass window that you're talking about?
Yes, that is.
That's on the northeast corner of the Low C Center?
Yes.
And that's the area where we see in the video an individual drop from the roof?
Yes.
I want to move on to another area, the courtyard. First, will you describe what that area of the crime scene looked like?
Yeah, so when I arrived on scene, you have different steps. I believe there were maybe like five or six, covered in grass. When I was there were personal belongings spread throughout. There was a tent towards the west end of that courtyard area, as well as some banners and some barriers as well.
Was that area processed for evidence as well?
Yes, it was.
What was done to process that area?
Photography, as well as just examining the tent area to see if there's anything there.
And who was assigned to process the courtyard area?
The FBI.
I want to take you to another area, a wooded area. Was there a wooded area that was processed as well?
Yes, there was.
Will you describe, first off, where that area is?
Yeah, so this area is located northeast of the Lobosi's Center building, and it is across from Campus Drive.
Your Honor, can we publish Exhibit 35, please? Yes. And if I may approach the witness, I'll put up the hard copy of this exhibit as well. All right. Can we publish oh, thank you. All right, on the screen in front of you, will you take a look at Exhibit 35?
Yes.
Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Will you take a moment to orient yourself on that map and tell me when you've found the relevant points that help you understand what this map is of?
Yes.
Do you see the courtyard on that map?
Yes, I do.
Kimberly, can you zoom in to the courtyard area, kind of the center of the... There's a pointer on the screen. Is that the courtyard?
Yes, that is.
All right, now the Low C Center, will you describe, well, let's jump to the wooded area. Where is the wooded area that you're talking about seeing that was processed?
Yep, the wooded area, if you go from the courtyard and you go northeast, you're going to come across this big parking lot. And then if you just go directly north to that.
Okay, at this point, it might be easiest for you to actually indicate on the physical map. If you don't mind just standing up, give you a handheld mic here.
Yes, so the wooded area is approximately right here in this area.
Okay, so just to make a record of the area, on the northern, I guess I'll say, and north is up on this map, is that right?
Yes.
Do you know where Campus Drive is?
Yes, Campus Drive is this road that winds right along here.
Okay, and so that's kind of the windy road that begins in the upper left-hand corner of the exhibit and winds down through the center of the map and kind of exits to the middle right side of the map, is that right?
Yes.
And the wooded area, where is it in relation to the Campus Drive?
It is north of Campus Drive.
Okay, kind of in that, probably the center right of the map, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Will you describe, first off, what is on the south side across the street from the wooded area?
Yeah, so on the south side of the south side of the wooded area, we have the computer science building, which is to, I guess, east. And then we have a parking structure, and we have a walkway along here in between that connects the computer science building and the Low C Center building, and then right onto the southwest of the parking lot area is going to be the Low C Center building.
Okay. Now you referred to the area across the street from the wooded area as a parking structure. That's a parking lot, right?
I'm sorry.
And there is a parking structure on campus, right?
I'm sorry.
And there is a parking structure on campus, correct?
Yes, there is.
But that's different than the parking lot you just mentioned.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Back to the wooded area. What was found? Was anything found in the wooded area of evidentiary value? You can sit down. Thank you. You can take that.
May you repeat your question?
Was anything of evidentiary value found in the wooded area?
Yes, in the wooded area, a rifle that was wrapped in a dark colored towel was found there.
And how did you learn about that?
I found it out because just a little bit before 6 p.m. That day, I received a call from Utah County Sheriff's Office, who was tasked with.
Chat, like I said, I turned down the quality. It's still stalling and stroking out. So I like I said, guys, I don't know. My apologies. You guys serve better quality than this. So
Searching that area.
Do you know why they searched that area in the first place?
Yeah, so they searched that area because I received a video that was from the UView security footage. This was received by our command post on scene, and it showed who we believe was the shooter on the rooftop, run from the southwest corner all the way to the northeast corner, jump down, and then continue to the northeast side of that campus, and then cross the street to Campus Drive, and then the suspect was out of camera's view after that.
Okay, so he ran basically toward and into that wooded area.
Yes.
All right. What were you told from the sheriff's office?
I was told that they found a gun, and from there I asked them to hold the scene, and that myself and FBI ERT team lead, Special Agent Kamak, would be en route.
Okay. FBI, ERT, FBI evidence response team, right?
Yes.
All right. Did you go to that area?
Yes, I did.
Did you observe the weapon?
Yes.
Will you describe what you saw?
Yeah, what I saw was a rifle that was, or at the time before even having removed it, we found, or in the bushes, we found all you could really see was just a dark towel there. So pictures were taken of that. And then eventually the gun or the towel was removed. And then once we removed the towel from the bushes is when we uncovered that the towel was actually used to wrap the gun in.
Have you reviewed State's Exhibits 10, 10.1, 10.2, and 10.3? Do you remember reviewing these?
Yes.
And are they accurate photographs of the weapon when it was recovered and shortly thereafter?
Yes.
I move the admission of State's Exhibits 10, 10.1, 10.2, and 10.3.
Defense?
No additional objection, Your Honor.
All right, and as it relates to publication, if any?
Yes, I would ask these be published at all three levels.
All right, any input, Ms. Burtz?
Same objections.
All right, I'll note the standing objections from the defense. Those are overruled. And 10.10, 10.1, 10.2, 10.3 are admitted into evidence and may be published both in the courtroom and through the use of the camera.
If we can please publish number 10, thank you. You have in front of you on the screen Plaintiff's Exhibit 10. Will you describe what we're looking at here?
Yes, what we are looking at here is actually the bushes where the dark colored towel and the gun were found.
Okay.
You kind of see the dark colored towel
Okay.
towards the right-hand side of the
Look, it's over. I'm going to refresh it, and we're still going to have the same problem. So, once again, guys, trying to tell you, I kind of have an idea what's going on. Okay, I have a little bit of an idea what's going on. It's not working. It's not working. As I said again, it's not working. So here we go. We're going to get all kinds of retardedness out of this.
Will you describe what we're looking at in Exhibit 10.1?
Now we don't
Yes,
have closed
this is a
captioning
mid-range
anymore.
shot of, again, the towel.
And now we don't have closed captioning anymore. So there you go. So like I try to explain to you guys, it's just not working.
That was used, or of the towel, and within the bushes.
All right. When this was found and you arrived on scene, what happened with that weapon?
We moved it from the bushes, or say FBI Special Agent Kamak moved it from the bushes. We then placed it on a cardboard box, took pictures of it, and then we removed the towel, packaged the towel separately, took additional pictures of the gun, and then rendered it safe on scene.
Okay, I'll ask you about that more in a minute, but let's go to number 10.2. Will you describe what we see here?
Yeah, so what you see here now is the dark colored towel and the rifle that is in the towel, and it is in a cardboard box.
Why is the towel still around the gun?
We wanted to.
Are you guys being serious, or are you guys being smartasses? I'm sorry if it's unwatchable. I'm not trying to make it bad, but I got no other choice to do anything here, guys. So if it's really that unwatchable, I am very sorry. I don't know what else to do.
Document as to how it was found.
All right, let's go to 10.3. Is this the rifle?
Yes, it is.
You described making the rifle safe. Will you describe what that is?
Yeah, so what that is that we ensure that there isn't anything in the chamber and that there's no other cartridges in the gun that would have it go off. So to do that, because it is a bolt action gun, we would have to manipulate the bolt or the lever back, and then from there see if anything was in the chamber.
We're gonna make that smaller, just so
I'd say carefully remove anything that was in the chamber and blow it.
All right, what is the difference between a bolt action and an auto ejecting gun?
Yep. A bolt action is one where the user actually
There we
has
go.
to manipulate the bolt. So they would actually have to turn, or they would actually have to pull it back and forward to, whether it be to load it, lock it, as well as extract anything that's in it. Unlike a semi-auto gun, that is one, every single time you pull the trigger, a bullet will be fired. And then from there, a casing will be extracted out, as well as any cartridge will then be automatically fed into the chamber.
So if you shoot a bolt action rifle, does that spent shell casing automatically exit the gun?
No, it does not. It will stay in there until the person that is handling the gun actually removes the bolt, or actually pulls the bolt back, and then the casing will be extracted out.
Were you present when this weapon was made safe?
Yes, I was.
Will you describe what was found when that happened?
Yeah. So when we rendered the gun safe, we found in it, when we removed the bolt back, we found one 30-06 cartridge case, or say a fired cartridge case, and we also found 3 unfired cartridges, all with engravings on them.
Okay. I want to make sure we understand the language you're using. When you say cartridge case and you say cartridge, what do you mean?
Yeah. So a cartridge is basically the round itself, right? The whole round. And the round consists of the cartridge case, and then the powder, and then the bullet on top. So the cartridge case, the term is used for something that has been fired already. A cartridge is an unfired round.
Okay. Cartridge is the unfired round that still has the bullet, the powder, and all that.
Yes.
Cartridge case is the fired, is a round that has been fired and it's just the empty brass casing. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Was there any, so there was, I just want to make sure I understand, a fired cartridge case and 3 unfired cartridges.
Yes.
Was there anything distinctive about these items?
All 4 of them had engravings on them.
Did you observe those engravings?
Yes, I did.
Did you observe them right there on scene?
Yes, I did.
And what was done with, let's talk about each of those things. First, the towel. What was done with the towel?
The towel was packaged in, it was packaged, and then it was eventually provided to the FBI.
What was done with the firearm?
The firearm was also packaged and then provided to the FBI as well.
Was the firearm, did the firearm go to the FBI or the ATF?
Oh, sorry, correction. It first went to the FBI, and then to be in their custody, and then it was then sent to the ATF lab.
Okay. And the rounds, the cartridge and cartridge cases. The cartridges and cartridge case.
Yes. All those were packaged, originally provided to the FBI, then was sent to the ATF lab.
Right. And were each of those items tested?
Yes, they were.
And in the testing, were they photographed?
Yes.
Have you reviewed the photo, and were they photographed by the ATF when they were tested?
Yes, they were.
Have you reviewed their photographs?
Yes.
And were you previously shown States Exhibits 19, 20, 21, and 22?
Yes.
And are those photographs that the ATF, that you received back from the ATF, of those cartridges and the cartridge case?
Yes.
Did they have the same appearance and etchings that you saw when you observed them removed from the gun?
Yes.
And did those photographs accurately capture those etchings?
Yes.
I move to admit States Exhibits 19 through 22.
Mr. Burke.
Additional objection.
All right, I'll note the standing objections. Those objections overruled, and 19, 20, 21, and 22 are admitted. And as to publication, Mr. McBride.
I move to publish these exhibits at all 3 levels.
All right, any further objection from?
No further objection.
Thank you. Again, I note the standing objections as are overruled. They may be published both in the courtroom and captured by the media camera.
Let us start with Exhibit 19, please. What are we looking at here in Exhibit 19?
This is the cartridge case that was recovered from the gun.
And what position was this in the gun?
This was this is what was in the chamber.
Okay. In the chamber, meaning that's where a cartridge is before it's, or when it is fired, correct?
Yes.
Do you notice an inscription or an etching on this cartridge case?
Yes, I do.
Will you read what that says?
Yes. Notice this bulge.
And if we can go down to page 2 of the exhibit, will you read what this says?
OWO, what's
And page 3,
this?
and question mark, correct?
Yes, question mark.
All right, if we go to States Exhibit 20. Is this a photograph of one of the cartridges that was found in the gun?
Yes, it is.
And what are we looking at here in this view of page 1 on Exhibit 20?
This is the head stamp of it, and it says it is according to the head stamp, it is a Remington 30-06 Springfield.
Is that a different caliber than a .223 round?
Yes, it is.
Will you look at page 2 of Exhibit 20? Will you read the markings here?
A fashion.
I said it was going to be some sort of Remington core locked or bonded ammunition or soft point hunting ammunition. Yeah. Duncanite says, do we need this detail? Yeah, well, I mean, it is. It is. We're going to get all the details, so. But I was right, chat. I mean, to be fair, a lot of people called this. So.
And page 3.
Catch.
And page 4.
Up arrow, right arrow, down arrow, down arrow, down arrow.
All right, let's go to exhibit 21.
Chat, do not engrave on your shell casings, especially with live rounds of ammunition. You weaken the casings, and you could cause problems for yourself. Don't do it. It's very dangerous.
And was this another round that was found in the gun?
Yes.
Will you read the inscription here?
Oh, Bella Chow.
Page 2.
Chow Chow.
All right, let's go to exhibit.
Oh, Bella Ciao is a song that was sang by the Italian communist partisans in World War II and is now been sang by many in Antifa, and then LARPers like Hassan Piker like to sing it. But yes, that's how the commies sing a song of fighting the fascists.
22. Another round that was found from the gun, correct?
Yes.
Will you please read the letters here?
If you read
Page 2.
this, comma, your, or correction, this, comma, you are
Page 3.
gay.
And page 4.
LMAO.
Which is where we get this from.
You are gay, LMAO.
Yes, you are gay, LMAO. So why would they do that, Sean? I don't know. Well, that's the thing. I've hunted. It's like, what would you use? It's a 30-06. He's not shooting black tip or ball ammunition out of it. He's shooting hunting ammunition. So, and that's all you'll find at 30-06 is bonded ammunition. So, anyways, here we go.
All right, after processing the scenes there at Utah Valley University in Orem, did you go to St. George?
Yes, I did.
And what was your role in St. George?
My role was overseeing the execution of the search warrants at both Mr. Robinson's residence as well as his parents' residence.
And we've had testimony that Mr. Robinson was arrested there. Was he fingerprinted and his DNA taken?
They were actually taken at the Utah County Sheriff's Office jail.
After he was transported to Utah
Yes.
County? Okay, you said that there was, were items of evidence collected from him after he was arrested?
Yes, there was.
From his person? What were those things?
They were his clothing that he was wearing at the time of his arrest, to include shirts, pants, underwear, as well as shoes and anything that were in his pockets.
Do you remember what tops he had on?
I believe it was a maroon top.
And was there any other top layer that was collected that you recall?
I don't recall.
Okay. Let's go to, you said there were a couple of homes that were searched there, is that right?
Yes.
Whose homes was that?
One of them was where Mr. Robinson and Mr. Twiggs resided, and the other was Robinson's parents' residence.
I ask you about the defendant's home. What items will you describe some of the items that were collected from that home?
Yeah. Some items collected in that home were a Dremel tool and its bits container, as well as two Remington boxes of 30-06 ammunition, as well as some 30-06 cartridge cases, and a handful of long guns or rifles, a revolver, as well as a burned paper.
All right, I want to ask you about clothing as well. Was any clothing collected from the townhome?
Yes, there was.
How about shoes?
Yes.
What kind of shoes?
2 shoes were collected from the home. One was a Converse shoes, gray in color with white.
Yes, guys, for those of you who don't understand, 30-06 was like that, and 30-30 have probably killed more large game in North America than anything else. And I'd say actually 30-30's probably killed more deer, but dangerous game in North America, 30-06 has killed it all. 30-06 has killed dangerous game, big game all over the world. 30-06 is a phenomenal rifle cartridge. Does everything you need it to do. It'll kill everything here in North America and South America. It'll kill a grizzly bear. It'll kill a polar bear. You can use them on those. It'll do it all. Very versatile cartridge. And then after you use them and they suffer like a neck split or something, you can actually cut off the case bottom, and you can use those to make 45 ACP casings with. Kind of neat you could do that.
laces, I believe a size 10 and a half, and then another Converse shoes that were also gray but had gray laces instead, but were of a different size. I can't remember.
I think you said that you collected boxes of ammunition. Do you remember what caliber that ammunition was?
Yes, there were a handful, but the one that I recall was 30-06.
And you also said you found some cartridge cases. Do you remember what caliber those cartridge cases were?
Yes, those were also 30-06.
If we can display just to the witness Exhibit 23. Do you recognize United States Exhibit, Plaintiff's Exhibit 23?
Yes, I do.
And is that an accurate photograph of the cartridge casings and some of the bullets you found?
Yes.
I would move the admission of Plaintiff's Exhibit 23.
Mr. Burke?
No further objections, Your Honor.
I'll note the standing objections by defense. Overrule those objections and admit into evidence State's Exhibit 23 as to publication, Mr. McBride.
I would move to publish at all three levels.
I just not screwing around.
Published to the,
Here we go.
Courtroom as well as maybe broadcast via the camera.
Is that coming up? Where did you find these?
I found these in what we would consider the spare bedroom, right next to Tyler's bedroom, on top of a safe.
How do you know which bedroom was Tyler's bedroom?
We determined that based off of some documents we found in what we believe
Come
was
on,
Tyler's
bro.
bedroom, such as mail that was addressed to him, as well as some school documents as well.
And again, in relation to, will you describe the layout of the house in that area?
Yep, so this was on the second floor. As you're coming up the stairs, if you turn left up the stairs, you're going to run into two bedrooms, and that is on the south end of that residence. The southeast bedroom would be Tyler's, and then the southwest would be the spare bedroom. Again, if you go back to the stairs and you make a right-hand turn, that is where you're now on the north end of that residence, and that is now Twig's bedroom.
And where were these items here in 23 found?
These were found on the southwest, or in the southwest bedroom, the one right next to Tyler's bedroom.
And you said on top of the safe?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Will you describe what we're looking at in Exhibit 23?
Exhibit 23 are the 5 cartridge casings we found on top of the safe. All were 30-06 Springfield caliber, and one of them had an engraving that said test shot on it.
You've talked about Springfield, Remington. Are these 30-06s? Are they the same type of round as was found in the gun?
Yes.
All right. Did you find any 30-06 weapons in that house?
No, we did not.
All right. Did you search the closet on the first floor?
Yes, I did.
What did you find in the closet?
In the closet, we found on the ground some shooting targets with perforations in it, as well as on the shelf, we found a Dremel tool with a bits container.
All right, a Dremel tool with bits. What is a Dremel tool?
It's basically like a handheld device where you can make etchings or engravings on things.
What are bits?
Bits would be I guess like a sharp edge or something that would actually cause the etchings that you would put into the tool.
Is this kind of like a drill bit?
Yes.
And what did you do with the Dremel and the bits?
We photographed them in place, took additional pictures, packaged them, then sent them for testing to the ATF.
All right, you also mentioned targets. Were those targets photographed?
Yes, they were.
I want to show you on your end. Have you reviewed Plaintiff's Exhibit 25 before?
Yes.
And is that an accurate photograph of those targets you found?
Yes.
I move the admission of State's Exhibit 25.
Mr. Burt?
No further objections?
All right, I note the standing objection, and those objections are overruled.
Excuse me, sorry.
Oh, well, did you want to, in regards to publication?
Yes, I'm so used to admission before publishing. I would move to publish those at all 3 levels.
Any further comment, Mr. Burt?
No further objections.
Again, all right, noting the standing objections, those are overruled. State's Exhibit 25 is admitted into evidence and may be published in the courtroom as well as captured by the media camera.
Will you describe what we're looking at here?
Yeah, so these were shooting targets we found in the closet, and each of them have have perforations in them.
You say perforations, what do you mean?
Holes in them.
Those holes consistent with?
Objection. Foundation on this opinion.
Mr. McBride, do you want to weigh in
They're perforated, not perforated.
upon that objection?
No, also,
Yeah, but shoot, I mean, depending on 100 yards, I mean, he's shooting 1 inch. He's shooting sub 1 MOA groups, probably.
I'll lay foundation if the objection is sustained.
I'll sustain the objection.
All right, holes. Have you ever shot a gun before?
Yes, I have.
When you hit a target, what happens to the target when it's hit with a bullet?
Hit with a bullet, there's holes in it, what we call perforations, because there's an entrance as well as an exit.
Looking at State's Exhibit 25, I'm going to ask the question that's objected to. You said there's perforations in those. Are those consistent with bullet holes.
Yes.
And I would ask you to describe where those perforations are there's 3 targets here, right?
Yes.
Let's look at the far right target first. Where are the perforations in relation to the bullseye?
They're all probably within the 7, 6, and 8 ring.
Is there a perforation up at the upper left-hand corner of that rightmost target?
Yes, there is.
Did any of those hit the bullseye?
No.
Okay, looking at the center target, will you describe where the perforations are in relation to the bullseye there?
It's closer, but still not it. Most of them are to the left of the bullseye and rings, let's say 9 and 8.
All right, and then the leftmost target, will you describe where the perforations are there?
Yeah, the perforations are actually closer to the bullseye as well, actually one being in it.
All right, you described also collecting a burnt note. We can take down 25. Thank you. Will you describe where that note was found and what it looked like to you?
Yeah, the burnt note was found in the trash can located in the kitchen. The way it looked like to me, it looked like, say you're at like a campfire and someone burns paper.
What was done with that?
That was also collected and that was sent to the FBI for analysis.
Was it photographed?
Yes, it was.
And have you reviewed State's Exhibit 24?
All right, chat. We're gonna stop here. I gotta get ready for 90. I have to get ready for the 9:30 show. We are gonna finish this up afterwards, but we are gonna go over to get ready for the Thursday night crime streams. I got stuff I gotta do. I'm hoping to God whatever issues of buffering and loading this thing could get done in the next 2.5 hours gets done. Because like I said, I apologize, guys. It wasn't a very good stream. Sorry about that. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk 2.0. We're going to have to come up with a game plan because we can't keep doing this. You guys are better than that. And I'm actually kind of like, I feel bad. You guys didn't get good quality entertainment here. Some comments here. J Mood says, one of my detractors works for your ISP and is trolling you just like Darkside Phil. I would I'm not even if I have detractors, that's kind of fun because I don't normally people hate me. That's awesome. They hate me enough to do stuff. Chugi Show for $2 says N. I guess we're putting a word together. Whiskey 77 for $2 says I. All right. Ashley Princess 1488 also says I. Whiskey 77 for $20 says this hearing should have been one day and done. There's way too much to go through. The standard is so low in between the state and defense. They dragged this far into the weeds. It's ridiculous. Show the text, show the video, show the DNA. Done. Yeah, but I'm thinking if you show all this, I think Tyler Robinson might plea. After this hearing. That might be the advantage here. But thank you for your $20. I agree, though. This is way too long. SB Seller says 30-06 is such a great cartridge. I ordered my Garand something else. It's a 308, and it shoots 308 is ballistically similar to 30-06 without all the ridiculous recoil and able to preserve weapons better because they're not beating themselves apart. And Ag Biochemist says, didn't Carlos Hathcock, the one of the highest scoring snipers in Vietnam, use the 30-06? Yes. He used a Winchester Model 70 chambered in 30-06 for most of his kills. Although he did use things like an M2 Browning to get a couple of them as well. But yes, his primary weapon was a Winchester Model 70, and he had an 8-power and Terrell scope on it. So, yes. Yes, very, very old school technology, even back in Vietnam. So, maybe Candace and these guys will shut up. No, they won't. They're going to come up with more bullshit. I mean, think about it. We're now seeing it's realistic. There isn't a special ammunition, all this stuff. I know they get to the actual discussion of the caliber of the bullet later, but it's just this is ridiculous. These idiots will come up with more to do. You're about to miss a confession note, Ananimu. We're going to come back after the Thursday night show's over and finish up, but we got to get that show going first. So that's all we're going to do. We'll start off probably getting to that confession note then. That'll be kind of fun. That'll be fun. It'll be fun to do. So let's see here. So we are going to set that up. I will send you guys over to the Thursday night show and get you guys ready for it. Let's see here. The craziest one I ever had was a shoulder shot at 200 yards and the bullet exit near the rear leg. Well, that's the other thing too, guys. Shooting things, animals and people, bullets do weird stuff. They'll bounce around, even they don't even hit bone. Shooting living tissue, just shooting anything, period. Bullets do weird stuff. Bullets will do weird stuff. So, yeah, Candace won't ever shut up, but that's what she does. But you can't worry about that. Candace is going to come up with bullshit anyway. Ian Carroll's going to come up with bullshit anyway. So, and that's the thing. Humans are mostly water. Yeah, and water does weird things to bullets. So, all right, chat. With that said, I will see you guys later tonight for the wrap up of this. In the meantime, we're going to go over and get ready for the Thursday night show. If you guys haven't been there for it, stick around. I think you'll enjoy it. But remember, everybody else, remember till next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. That includes you, chat. Although my haircut, I think I'm guilty of having a bad haircut. I mean, oh my God, look at this thing. God, I got my hair got butchered. Alfalfa Sean, yeah. Yeah, no, Baron Coleman, Candace Owens, they're all fucking losers. So don't give them any opportunity. Don't give them any opportunities. So, chat, I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes. Take care. You guys will get redirected over automatically.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops. Even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy Rick hated yelled at?